Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I was requested to talk about the divide of communication between parents and children. And originally, this request was meant to be something directed only to parents. But alhamdulillah, every night we have mixed kind of audience. Some of us are children, some of us are parents, some of us are both parents and children. So inshallah, I hope that this reminder will be a benefit to all of us, inshallah. But before I say anything, I want to share with you an advice that one of my teachers gave it to me. One of my teachers, Mulana Ahmad Umar Sahab, once I was sitting with him and he said to me, Muhammad, whenever you are going to address, or even if you're giving advice to someone, and you are thinking that how should I put together a topic, or how should I talk? Let the Quran do the talking. You stay quiet and let the Quran do the talking. It is called guidance for a reason. So find in the Quran, wherever it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about that particular subject, that particular issue, and then just let the Quran do the topic, let that be the speech itself. So inshallah, this is what I will try to do tonight. I will try to live up to that advice. One of the most beautiful places where you can learn something about parenting in the Quran is Surah Yusuf. And within Surah Yusuf, especially Yaqub alayhi salatu wassalam. Those of you who don't know, Yaqub alayhi salatu wassalam, all over the Quran, Yaqub alayhi salatu wassalam is mentioned as a role model parent. In all over the Quran, he is mentioned as a role model parent. And Surah Yusuf tells us something really special that Yaqub alayhi salatu wassalam had, because of which he became this ideal father. And Allah is giving his example all over the Quran. Those of you who have been following my reminders in the month of Ramadan, you probably have already noticed that there are many times when I say that we could not appreciate the miracle of Quran. We do not appreciate how awesome the Quran is. We don't know and we don't see why that is a big deal. So inshallah, tonight in this reminder, what I will try to do is that I will try to highlight some of these lessons, some of these things from the Quran, from Surah Yusuf, that we all can benefit from, as parents and as children, inshallah. So Surah Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, as you all know the story, Yusuf alayhi salam, he's a young boy. He's a teenager. And he sees a dream. And when he sees a dream, it disturbs him. Now, according to the Quran, who is the first person that Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam goes and talks to? When he sees the dream, he gets disturbed. Who is the first person that he goes and talks to? Yaqub alayhi salam, his father, right? His dad. I want to ask you an honest question, and please give me an honest answer. Have you ever seen a teenage boy who is 13 years old, 12 years old, maybe 9, 10 years old? He sees a dream and something bothered him. And the first person he goes and talks to is his dad. My young brothers are sitting at the back. I want to ask you this question. Something small goes wrong in your life. Small, very small, goes wrong in you, especially if you are a boy. Something small goes wrong in your life. Do you say to yourself, maybe I should talk to my dad about it? Is that what you normally do? If something really big happens, then maybe you will go and speak to your mother. And even if you do, the first thing you will tell her is, don't tell dad. Don't tell dad. And then you will say whatever it is that you want to say to your mother. The fact that Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam went and spoke to his father, it is already teaching a huge lesson to us fathers. Huge lesson. He has some kind of relationship with his child. And by virtue of that relationship, no matter how disturbed that child is, no matter how big or small the problem is, well, in this case, the problem is not even a matter of reality. It's a matter of Dream, he sees it in a dream. It's not even reality. The problem does not even exist in reality. But whatever problem comes up, this child feels that I can go and speak to my father. Whatever the problem is, no matter whatever it is, I can go and speak to my father. This is the kind of relationship Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam established with his son. And he didn't have to go to his son and say to him, "Wait, if something happens, come to me and talk to me. You hear that? Talk to me." No. He goes himself. He goes to his father himself. And it's a huge thing. Before we learn anything about parenting in Surah Yusuf, we have already learned something really huge about what kind of fathers our fathers are supposed to be. How easily accessible they need to make themselves to their kids. How easy it should be for the kids to go to their parents, to go to their father and talk about anything. And wallahi, I'm telling you, it's very easy to talk about it, but it's really, really difficult to live by. I understand that. Probably you say to me, "Mulana, you are not a father yourself. What do you know?" I remember when I used to give bayan about husband and wife relationship before I got married, this was the same thing sisters used to tell me. Same thing. They used to send me emails and they used to tell me, "What do you know about marital relations?" So I understand. I'm not a father myself. But I understand that this is very easy to talk about and very difficult to live by. But let me give you an example of a friend. He's sitting here, so I'm not going to mention his name. One of my friends, once he said it to me, he said, "You know, our first child is our favorite child. We are very protective about our first child. He's always the favorite one, or she's always the favorite one. And then, the second and the third comes along, and then, you start mixing up the names and you say, 'Hey, you, Muhammad.' No, I mean Ahmad. No, I mean number 4. Or were you number 3? Which one were you? Whoever you, stay away from this." It happens. You go through the names of extended family before you get their name right. My mother always does this. Always. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant her shifa. So he said, my eldest daughter, she started going to nursery. And she's only 3-4 years old. She starts going to nursery. And one day she comes back home and she says to me, "Abba, Umar is so funny." Some boy Umar in her class. "Umar is so funny." And he said, just like a desi father, I said to her, "Who is Umar? Tell me everything." And he said, "My wife saw me from the corner of her eye. And she said to me, 'Come here, I need to speak to you.' So I came over and I said, 'What? What do you want to tell me? What do you want to talk about?' And she said, 'You stay quiet. I will take my daughter and I will speak to her.' So she took her daughter and she went away. When she came back later on, she said to me that, 'Don't you think that your daughter can see that you are getting upset?' And I said, 'Yeah, sure. She could see that I'm getting upset.' And then she said, 'If she sees that you are getting upset, next time when it comes to tell you anything that happens in her class, will she open her mouth or will she keep her mouth shut?' And I said, 'Yeah, she will keep her mouth shut.' And my wife said, 'This is your fault. This is entirely your fault. Because you look like you're getting upset. So now she will not tell you anything. She will hide things from you and you cannot close this door on her. So you need to listen to her and relax. She's just 3 years old. It's not a big deal. Calm down. Relax and just listen to her.' And I don't know about other fathers, but we Desi fathers, we need to be trained into calming down. We can't calm down. That's the biggest problem that we have. We are not trained into that. We don't have that. We have the exact opposite training. We can't just calm ourselves down. But Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, he sees a dream. But look at what kind of relationship Yaqub alayhi salam had with his child. He sees a dream. He's a teenage boy. The first person he goes and talks to is his father. And when he addresses his father, you know what he says? He says, "Ya abati." In Arabic, normally when you address your father, you say, "Ya abi," "Oh my father." But he says, "Ya abati." He adds a ta at the end. What it means, I cannot tell you now. My time is already over. But inshallah, I will tell you tomorrow what this ta means and how he addresses his father. And what can we learn in this small ta? What us fathers can we learn in this small ta? So I hope that you brothers keep coming to participating in this gathering. I hope that this will benefit all. This is not a very complicated issue. This is not a very complicated academic topic. I'm not telling you about the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and about the task of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is a very easy topic to understand and we all can relate to it. So I hope that you will keep coming and participating in it. Jazakumullah khair.